Hello. Since the onset of the current Fourth Republic in May 1999, Nigeria has had 5 presidents. We have had Obasanjo, we have had Yaradua, we have had Goodluck Jonathan, we have had Buhari, and now have Tinubu as president. Nigerians have gone through a whole lot, to say the least, under these 5 men. Now, who among these 5 men do you consider a hero? Who do you consider a villain? Let's have your opinion in the comments section. But let me tell you what I did. I asked artificial intelligence, AI, to rank these 5 presidents according to their performances from number 1, first, to last. Now, as we all know, AI is not a human being. It doesn't have a soul. Therefore, AI is not subject to emotions and sentiments. AI simply judges based on raw facts. Do watch this video to the end to see how AI ranks these 5 presidents. By the way, subscribe, because as we approach 2027, I am going to be bringing us important and breaking political news concerning our nation. News and events that will shape our lives as from 2027. Now, before I unveil AI's ranking of these 5 men, it is probably in order to remind us of the notable achievements and failures of these 5 presidents. Number 1, Olusegun Obasanjo. This man stabilized our democracy after so many years of military rule. He secured a debt relief of $18 billion from the Paris Club in 2005, thereby freeing Nigeria from indebtedness for the first time. Now, 20 years down the road, our debt burden currently stands at $117 billion. Obasanjo established the EFCC and the ICPC to deal with corruption. Unfortunately, somewhere along the line, he appeared to deploy these institutions to fight his opponents. That sort of tempered down the impact of his anti-corruption engagements. Now, Obasanjo liberalized the telecommunication sector, blazing the way for the GSM revolution that we enjoy today. Obasanjo initiated banking reforms during his time. 89 insolvent and weak banks were consolidated into 20 solid institutions. He facilitated e-banking and the establishment of ATMs across the nation. This eased cash transactions in banks. Obasanjo also boosted investor confidence in the banking sector, especially by the reforms he initiated. Obasanjo achieved strong GDP growth for the nation. GDP grew from between 6% to 7% per annum during his tenure. He increased the foreign reserves from $5 billion in 1999 to $48 billion in 2007 when he was leaving office. Of course, the man has significant failures. One of his most notable failures is his failed attempt to amend the constitution to pave way for a 3rd term for himself. The power sector reforms were weak. Obasanjo did not deliver his promise to provide electricity to Nigerians. Persistent poverty and inequality pervaded his tenure. Now, Obasanjo's solid reforms were undermined by sheer arrogance and his selective application of his anti-corruption tools. Number 2, Musa Yaradua. Yaradua acknowledged that the election that brought him to power was flawed, thereby immediately embarking on electoral reforms. Yaradua notably initiated the Niger Delta amnesty program that restored peace to the Niger Delta and terminated militancy during his time. He caused oil production to be revamped again. Now, Yaradua committed fully to the rule of law and due process. He enunciated a 7-point agenda that focused on infrastructure and energy development. The reforms he initiated were stalled by his poor health and slow execution. Electricity outages persisted. Fuel shortages persisted during his time. In summary, Yaradua had integrity, but his governance was ineffective because of ill health. Number 3, Goodluck Jonathan. Now, Goodluck Jonathan continued the electoral reforms that his predecessor started, leading to credible elections in 2011. Jonathan improved agric sector reforms, boosting domestic production of rice across the land. He attracted $8 billion in private sector funds to boost agric production. Indeed, Goodluck's agricultural revolution was recognized internationally. That is what led to the appointment of his then Minister of Agric, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, to become president of the African Development Bank, a position he held until May 2025. Now, Goodluck established the Nigerian Sovereign Wealth Fund. The Nigerian Sovereign Wealth Fund was a repository in which the government placed excess funds for future use. Those savings grew gradually during the tenure of Goodluck Jonathan and were deployed into roads construction and infrastructure development. Today, the roads that Goodluck Jonathan constructed are a shadow of themselves. In 2014, Goodluck rebased the Nigerian economy, making the Nigerian economy the largest in Africa. Now, the rebasing was basically a recognition of growth in new sectors like telecommunications and entertainment, notably Nollywood, IT, and e-commerce. The rebasing increased Nigeria's GDP from $270 billion to $510 billion. This status enhanced focus of foreign investors on Nigeria. Goodluck also signed the Freedom of Information Bill into law, thereby engendering transparency in the storage and retrieval of government information. However, his weak response to the Boko Haram insurgency and poor handling of the abduction of the Chibok girls undermined the performance of Goodluck Jonathan. Rampant corruption, scandals such as the subsidy scam, the 20 billion missing NNPC funds, all undermined the performance of Goodluck Jonathan. Indeed, economic growth under Jonathan was overshadowed by insecurity, corruption, poor leadership in crisis times. All this portraying him as a weak and indecisive leader. Jonathan's tenure could be described as a case of missed opportunities. Number 4, Buhari. Buhari pushed for infrastructural development, leading to the commissioning of the second Niger Bridge. Buhari initiated railway projects, notably the lines connecting Lagos to Ibadan and Abuja to Kaduna. Buhari strengthened the Treasury Single Account for the nation. Now, the Treasury Single Account, TSA, was an initiative to have all government funds reposited into one account for transparency. Before this time, there were thousands of shadow government accounts run by shadow government officials. This improved fiscal discipline during Buhari's time. Now, over 5 trillion naira entered into the TSA by 2018. Buhari also expanded a social intervention program for youths, in which 500,000 youths were engaged who received 30,000 naira stipends a month. But how much impact will this have on poverty alleviation, given the background of 150 million youths across the nation? Very little. Buhari recovered looted funds too, notably the Abacha funds and the Desiani stolen funds. But how these funds were plowed back into growing the economy has lots of question marks on them till today. Buhari had failures too. Now, the worst economic recession in 33 years happened under his government. This was largely due to poor economic management. There was a massive increase in debts with no productive impact. There was a rise in insecurity, banditry, and terrorism, which were worsened in the northwest and the north-central regions of the nation. His divisiveness and his perceived favoritism in appointing government officials was highly and severely criticized. Corruption was rampant despite his famous anti-corruption rhetoric, which is the rhetoric that brought him to power in the first place. Initial promises of anti-corruption by Buhari faded into hypocrisy and an exhibition of a weak leader who frequented foreign countries to cure himself of ill health. Number 5, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Tinubu removed fuel subsidy. It was a bold decision to reform the economy, but it was not well thought out. Tinubu unified the exchange rates of the naira and initiated tax reforms. He even renewed foreign investment interests in Nigeria. But actual foreign investments in the Nigerian economy today is doubtful. Tinubu has probably the worst failures recorded by any Nigerian president, as far as I'm concerned, during the Fourth Republic. Soaring inflation, skyrocketing cost of living. Nigerians have never had it so bad. The naira devaluation was the fastest and most profound that the nation had experienced. Insecurity persists. Public perception of his government is one of very corrupt officials who openly show affluence while the people suffer. Tinubu runs the largest government cabinet in the history of the nation. There is simply a continuation of economic hardship with no end in sight. Indeed, Tinubu's ascension to power reeks heavily of election rigging and corruption. The man has not landed any electoral reform to date, reforms that Nigerians are eagerly expecting as we approach 2027. On the other hand, quite unfortunately, Tinubu appears to be pursuing an agenda of muscling the opposition and gunning for the establishment of a one-party authoritarian state, something we have never known before. Tinubu's 2 years have been marked by frequent trips abroad, harsh reforms with massive public suffering and uncertain long-term benefits. There is a lack of clear development focus in his policies. Nobody knows exactly what he wants to achieve. Therefore, there is popular discontent across the land. So, this is how AI has ranked these 5 presidents. Number 1, Obasanjo. Number 2, Yaradua. Number 3, Goodluck Jonathan. Number 4, Tinubu. Number 5, Buhari. Now, although AI has ranked Tinubu above Buhari, AI has placed a caution. It says, so far. In other words, by the time we await the full maturity of the policies and programs of Tinubu and their impact on the populace, we will probably come to the conclusion that Tinubu has run a worse government than Buhari ever did. Now, going by the trend established from AI's analysis of these 5 presidencies, it is clear that successive elections have only succeeded in throwing upon the nation presidents who were worse than their predecessors. We need a trend breaker in 2027. From the analysis of AI, these are the qualities we expect from the person who will emerge president in 2027. Number 1, the person must not be arrogant and deaf to counsel. That person must be a bridge builder and an inclusive leader. Number 2, that person must be physically healthy, mentally healthy. Presumably, that person should be younger than the presidents we have seen in recent times. Number 3, the person should have a strong and decisive leadership quality, especially in managing crises, managing emergencies. It is this set of qualities we would need to put the scourge of Boko Haram to rest, finally. Number 4, that person must be an anti-corruption crusader, both in word and in deed. Not one who sets up a loyalty-based government. Number 5, that person must be one who respects the rule of law and canvasses electoral reforms. Post-2027 president must be a person who will reform INEC, the police, the military, and the judiciary. Number 6, the person who must be president in 2027 will have to be someone who has a clear vision for the nation, not a person who bandies around ambiguous slogans. Now, among the lot currently positioning themselves for 2027, we have Tinubu, we have Atiku, we have Obi, we have El-Rufai, we have Amechi, we have Kwankwaso, we have Showore, we have Tambuwa, to name just a few. Now, among this lot, who, in your opinion, fits the bill as Nigeria's 2027 president? Let's have your opinion in the comment section and see you in the next episode. One more thing, do not forget to subscribe. See you soon.